Have you ever felt like you needed to get things done faster, but all you see is a huge wall of intimidation and you don't know where to start?
I've got the solution for you. A system that I use with pretty much any problem that I have in my life. By the end of this video, you will be able to break down and pinpoint exactly where and what you need to do in a reasonable amount of time. Now, let's set some expectations. This system was made specifically to suit my lifestyle and my thought process. I'm sharing it off to you so that you may find it useful. But it is not a hard rule. Anything that works for me may not work as well for you. So, feel free to pick and choose. So, what is this problem that I keep talking about? Let's give an example. Say you want to set a schedule, but every time you look at it, you can barely figure out what's important, let alone set a time. This is exactly what we'll tackle today. But real quick, welcome. My name is Winn. I'm a guy who only recently figured out what he wanted to do in life, but luckily, I had my mom to guide me through it. And I know not everyone has that. That's why this channel exists, to share and grow with you guys using the things that worked for me. Now that we're done with the introduction, let's move on to the main show, shall we? The first step to this system is to figure out your target. A good plan always has a target, something to set your scope and aim for. If you don't have anything to aim for, you'll end up running around like a headless chicken. Now, this sounds like a very brainless thing to do, but really think about it. What is it that you want to achieve? Don't leave this open-ended, as this is the catalyst to all our other steps. It is the thing that we're going to use to guide ourselves in the right direction. For instance, using the example of setting a schedule for yourself, your target could be to fill out your entire timetable. Or for a more abstract example, maybe you could limit yourself to only 3 colors on your next art project. I find that it is a lot harder to work when you have so many options to choose from. So, setting your target and your expectations is a great way to pinpoint exactly what you want to do and optimize it. Our next step is to find all the variables, all the things that need to be accounted for, anything that you find vital or remotely interesting that has to do with your target. It's also probably a good idea to open an Excel sheet, or maybe a pen and paper if that's your fancy, then list out all the things that has anything to do with your target. You don't have to worry about importance or usefulness or anything like that, as that's for the later steps. As long as it has something to do with our target, put it on the list. For our schedule, we would have things like breakfast, lunch, dinner, bedtime, exercise, and for hobbies, it could be reading, drawing, playing games. As long as it fits your target and you have a need or interest in it, just add it to the list. This is where things get interesting. You may be wondering, what are the uncompromisables? What I mean by that is all the things that you cannot remove or change in any way. These are the things that, if removed, will cause such a big issue that you won't be able to achieve your end target. I like to separate all the uncompromisable things into its own list. That way, whatever I decide to do next, I know everything on that list needs to be done. For our list so far, it would be things like lessons and exercise, things that have set dates and time requirements that cannot be changed. Those will go into our new uncompromisable list. The next thing on our agenda is to figure out what can be compromised and how. These are the things that should be included but can be changed or cut out if needed. This is the part where I usually have the most fun because I can adjust and customize to exactly how I like it. I tend to include all the things that I want to do on this list and figure out exactly what can be compromised. Is it the amount of time I do this activity for? Or maybe where and when I start it? For our list, these are the things like gaming and hanging out with friends. Now it's time to set the timeline. Making the timeline is an important step as it's when your system finally starts to come together. This timeline is kind of like an instruction sheet for you to do all the things that you've put on your list. Hopefully, by the end of that list, you would have reached your target as well. By this stage, you probably already know where you kind of need to start, but if you don't, you can take a look at your uncompromisables list and put them out onto your timeline in order of which needs to be done first. Make sure you've added everything from your uncompromisable list before you start adding everything else. This is when you start looking at all the available slots remaining and putting in the compromisable. A little bonus tip that I like to do whenever I'm making my own timeline is add 15 to 30 minutes to every single item on my timeline. This will allow me some extra leeway for when things don't go as planned. You don't need to add this for every single item, especially if you know it will only take 20 minutes max. After making your timeline, it is probably overflowing because of the sheer amount of things you put on your list. You probably couldn't even fit all of the things onto the timeline. And while yes, having a full timeline is great, you don't want to fill it to the point where you don't have enough energy or enough time to complete all of them. This is where you need to figure out what exactly can be cut out from your timeline. The criteria I like to use when I'm cutting things out are 2 things. Will anything change if I cut that thing out? If no, then cut it out. Is it more enjoyable than the other things on my timeline? If no, then cut it out. If yes, then cut the other one out. Sooner or later, you would have cut out enough to the point where it's actually doable. The final step is to put our timeline to the test. Only after testing will you know what you should or shouldn't have included, and this will help you for the next time you use the system again. The more you put your timeline to the test, the more data you'll have to work with. After that, the only thing left to do is to repeat and refine. So, to conclude things, our 7-step system includes setting your target, finding all the variables, dealing with the uncompromisables, figure out what exactly can be compromised, set the timeline, cut out anything unnecessary, and finally, test and repeat. Hopefully, this system can help you with whatever you're doing. I find it very helpful as it breaks things down into an instruction manual that I can use to easily pinpoint what I need to do. So far, I have yet to find anything I can't use the system on. But as I said before, I made it to suit me. If there's anything that doesn't work for you, feel free to change it to suit your lifestyle. The system is useless if it doesn't help you. Anyway, see you next time. Have you ever felt like you needed to do Don't leave this open-ended Don't leave this open-ended, as this is the catalyst to all our other steps. Why did I make it so difficult to say?